You touched on Mac Jones, and I know earlier you wrote this week about how you talked to some NFL executives, coaches, scouts, how they would assess Mac Jones in his first season as quarterback. What did you find in talking with them?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people were impressed by what he was able to do this season. The fact that he was the top quarterback or the top rookie quarterback in the NFL this year, despite the fact that he was taken 15th overall and behind those other guys who went above him in the draft. He was the fifth quarterback taken this year. There are still some current concerns about, the limitations that he had coming out of Alabama. One of those was just his arm strength. One executive said that, that could continue to be an issue, especially in New England in the winter during the playoffs. It is kind of funny though, because after I posted the piece, someone that I talked to for the piece reached out to me and he was like, "Who said that Mac Jones has a bad arm? Like, that guy's an idiot." Things. I was like, "Listen, I'm not going to name any names. Like, maybe we can do a part 2 on this piece where you can, get your opinions out on Mac Jones' arm." But it was kind of interesting that even after I posted it, people were still kind of reaching out with their take on Mac Jones. And I think that he's going to be kind of a divisive player moving forward, unless he can have that season that Joe Burrow had this year. Because I think that Joe Burrow last year had a lot of the same questions about his arm strength, and he really was able to prove this season that the limitations of his arm strength aren't that important because he's just got that it factor. He's able to lead the team. He's a really smart quarterback. It helped that he was able to get Jamar Chase. So if the Patriots can put that same talent around Mac Jones, and if he can lead, the Patriots to, the second round of the playoffs and do all the things that Joe Burrow did this season, then you might start to see Mac Jones, labeled with some of those other top quarterbacks like Burrow, like Justin Herbert, like Josh Allen, because it doesn't take much to get into that upper echelon of names.
And he's got the right structure around him. Going back to Joe Burrow, do you think he will be the franchise quarterback for the Bengals to finally bring Cincinnati a Super Bowl after all this time?
Yeah, I do. It's interesting. I did kind of a similar piece a couple of weeks ago on Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And I basically was asking people, which quarterback would you prefer moving forward? Would you prefer Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert? It's a really difficult question because they're both so good and they come with different skill sets. But a few people did say, I think Joe Burrow is going to win multiple Super Bowls. I think that he's going to be that guy for the Cincinnati Bengals. And it is interesting because it's intangibles for Joe Burrow. You can't really point to one specific elite skill that he has. He just seems to have it. And people mentioned even in like post-game press conferences, he just seems to have that air about him and that confidence. And who knows, maybe people would have said the same thing about Baker Mayfield after his rookie season. Things have kind of downturned for him. But I just do, as long as he can stay healthy and as long as the Bengals can put a better offensive line around Joe Burrow, I think that he really does. He's got a chance to be the best quarterback in the NFL. I know that there's a lot of guys or a couple of guys right now above him, but he has that he's got that skill set and that upside.